Good morning. It is such a pleasure and an honor to be here today. First of all, I want to thank CalPro. I want to thank Marianne Fideli and her staff for putting this on. Let's give them a hand. I had the pleasure of attending the training yesterday, and I told the group that this started with a phone call with 3 people saying, yes, we can do this, and then saying, how do we make this happen? I stepped back, CalPro took over, the folks from the National College Transitions Network came in, and here we are together. Yesterday was a wonderful day of training. Tomorrow will be another day of training. Today is a summit. The messages that you will hear today from the global level, the national level, the state level, down to the practitioners level will be the same. The threads, the themes will carry throughout the day. Unbeknownst to any of us who are speaking up here, but when I had a chance to look at the slides, the theme is the same. Our work is clear. The message is clear, the work that we have to do. My task today is to paint the landscape of the need for adult education in California. You'll be hearing more about the need nationally. I'm going to talk a little bit about California. About a year ago, we embarked upon the journey of a strategic plan. Many of you have been involved in that process. We actually began the formal process in January, prior to the budget reductions. I didn't know then that our sustainability and the survivalship of our system would be dependent upon the findings of that strategic plan. The more that we have worked and the more that we have learned through the needs assessment has taught me just that. Our survivability, our sustainability as a system, our sustainability as adult educators in the state of California will be dependent upon the strategic plan. So far, there are several areas of the strategic plan, several phases. The first phase is the planning phase, and the plan will be posted. The needs assessment will be posted, I think, in about a week. Diane from CDE has taken the lead on the strategic planning project. And today I'm going to talk to you about the findings from that needs assessment. As a matter of economic sustainability, California must directly focus on closing the foundational skills gap in its current working age population. The research says that the United States is the only highly developed democracy where young adults are less likely to have completed high school than the previous generation. We are raising a less educated generation. There are more than 5 million adults in California, it's 5.3 million adults in California, that do not have a high school diploma. That's 1/5 of California's adult population. If 4 tables were to stand in this room, that would be the number, the same percentage of adults that don't have a high school diploma. I was in a line yesterday at the bank teller, and I thought, oh, there are 5 of us in this line. 1 of us does not have a high school diploma. I was in a Costco line. There are 2 of us that do not have a high school diploma. National Center for Higher Educational Attainment in California said that California has a greater percentage of high school dropouts than the national average and a lower rate of transition to post-secondary. Educational attainment rates are not evenly distributed across the population. Hispanic and African American groups drop out at a much higher rate. And here you see the educational attainment of Californians 18 years of age and older. In California, almost 1/3 of all students fail to graduate high school within 4 years. The share of California's population with less than a 9th grade education is about 10%. That is more than double the national average. The key foundational skill needs are English language, literacy to the level of post-secondary readiness and workplace readiness. And the needs assessment found that there is an unmet need of 80% for ESL, ABE, and ASE. So even when adult educators, community college folks, everyone who's participating, CBOs, libraries, all of us who are adult educators come together and try to meet this need, we only serve 20% of the population. Another significant finding of the needs assessment is that federal policy priorities emphasize the core literacy challenges faced by California, and they're evolving to include new priorities. 1, transitioning to post-secondary education, and 2, connecting adult education programs to the workforce. This has significant implications for our sustainability as a system, for our ability to garner federal dollars. We'll hear more about these federal priorities. The messages are clear. Every single report that's coming out of Washington, every report that's coming from all of the researchers, the message is clear. Let's get our students into post-secondary. Let's get our students to work. The Public Policy Institute of California projects that California will underproduce college graduates and people with some post-secondary training. We will not be able to meet the growing workforce demands. The projection is that 75% of occupations will require some college, whereas only 61% of the population will have this level of education. Folks, it's not enough that our students get a high school diploma or a GED. That is not where our students end their education. That is where they begin. That's where they begin. That's where they start. They're going to go from us to the workplace and to post-secondary education. California has long outstripped the rest of the nation in the absolute rate of immigration, and experienced an immigration wave that crested earlier than in many states. 33% of California's workforce are foreign-born. That's compared to 14% nationally. Foreign-born residents are 4 times as likely to have less than a high school degree than native-born residents. This presents challenges for our economy. It presents challenges for us as adult educators. Another finding, to meet the state's long-term needs, a revamped California adult education system must focus on workplace readiness skills and alignment with CTE, whether provided by adult educators or other agencies. While there's a high degree of regional variation in adult education's role in CTE, this linkage must be achieved to gain the benefits of contextualized instruction and to meet the state needs for a skilled workforce. Someone emailed me the other day, I don't see him in this room, but he may be here, and said, I get it. It's adult education for work. That's what we need to be doing. We need to retool our students, reskill our students, get them jobs, send them back for retraining. Changing workplace needs are requiring increasing levels of education, technical skill, and other workplace skills. This slide shows the shift in occupational distribution over the last 3 decades of the 20th century. Occupations are listed by increasing average pay. The needs assessment also found that adult education should have a focused priority on the state's primary educational needs. Period. Stop. The needs assessment concluded that adult education should have a focused priority on the state's primary educational needs. But it can collaborate with other agencies to support other important initiatives. We all know the wonderful work that we do in our communities, the needs that are in our communities. We're going to have to work diligently to find ways to meet those needs, and it may be in partnerships. I want to read you the opening statement of the strategic plan. California confronts a serious gap between the skills and knowledge requirements of the future and the educational alignment of its population. A bold partnership among key providers and users of adult education must be forged to meet the challenges of the future. I'm going to read it again. California confronts a serious gap between the skills and knowledge requirements of the future and the educational attainment of its population. A bold partnership of the providers and users of adult education must be forged to meet the challenges of the future. This was the strategic plan that was written in 1989. 20 years ago, we have come full circle. We no longer have the luxury to heed those words. We have the responsibility to heed those words. So what does this mean for the adult education program? Many of you have seen this slide before, and it came out of many conversations at the Department of Education. The black broken arrows show the linear traditional path that our students took. Sometimes it shows that perhaps we assumed that that was their traditional path. They went from ESL, then they went into ABE, they progressed from ABE to ASE, and then we sent them on to post-secondary or CTE or skills training. But that's not how our students live their lives. They do not have time to move in a linear manner. Rather, they work, they attend school, they stop in, they stop out, they are retrained at the same time they have jobs. This is the pattern that our adult system needs to be. We are a responsive system to the needs of our students. We have a commitment to our students to move them through the continuum of education and training as quickly, as effectively, and as efficiently as possible. There's a new term. It's called skilling up. And I didn't know if I liked that term. It didn't settle well with me for some reason. But the more I've heard it, in a lot of the research, many of the reports use that term, skilling up America. There's an economic urgency to skilling up the California workforce to meet the demands and the needs of the global economy. The success of our students is our success as adult educators. It's our success as a system. And it's our commitment, my commitment, your commitment, every single person in this room, to go today, leave here with tools. You'll leave here with information, with knowledge, but you'll leave here with a toolbox that you can go back to your schools, form these partnerships, work together for the success of our students and the sustainability of the adult education system. Thank you so much for having me here today. I look forward to the rest of the day. I want to thank the CDE staff for the work that they're going to be doing this afternoon. And now it is my pleasure and my honor to introduce to you Dr. Brenda Dan Messier.